Well, hello and welcome to Improve Your Voice. My name is Darren McStay, and today I'm going to be reviewing the voice of Thomas Shelby. No, not Cillian Murphy. Thomas Shelby, the character that he plays in Peaky Blinders.
I'll take your tongue first.
This was asked to me by Amelia, thank you very much, and I think some other people may have asked for it at some point too. But anyway, this is going out to you, A, and let's just crack into it. Let's have a little listen.
I'll take your tongue first. Then I'll take your ears. And I'll take your fingers. And your fucking toes.
Right, the first thing, and we should get this clear straight away, is that throughout the entire Peaky Blinders series, that everything I've seen anyway, and especially in these clips, he hardly ever raises his voice. He really does. He's always speaking very low and very quiet. And this is important because it's hard to speak at volume and keep those lower tones, those warmer, rich, deep sounds without speaking quietly, especially if you're not naturally, don't have a natural deep voice. The quieter you speak, what happens is when you speak quietly, you slow down the air that's being pushed through your vocal folds, and that sound of low depth is the vocal folds moving at a slower pace, and we call that the pulse register. So when we get down there, listen to this. You see at the bottom that that whole sound is, when it's higher, it's It's just happening slower. Those vocal folds are making slower movements, which is making less vibrations, and that's basically what how the depth of sound works. Of course, to make it more resonant, you need to open up and create a big space, and he's clearly got that. He's got a great instrument. He's a very fine actor, so he's nothing new to it. So it's very it's very rich with him. But he does get that whiskey sounding voice, and in Peaky Blinders they drink a lot of whiskey because he is very quiet, very low. And he's down there. Now we also have to address the accent because his accent is from Birmingham. I don't know how dated it has been, and I know there's a lot of people on the series from different places, and they've all kind of got slightly different Brummy accents, which is not. I'm sure they've been working with the dialect coach, but every act is different. Everyone's bringing their own thing to the table. But his is particularly interesting. So we'll take another look at the clip and have a listen.
Look at me.
Oh, and this is actually whispering.
Look at me. Look at me. This is the end.
This is the end.
It was your tongue that gave the order.
It was your tongue that gave the order.
It was your tongue that gave the order.
Hear that? It was your tongue that gave the order. Very low. Very deliberate. Very Brummy. See, Brummy accent is a bit like that. I can't do it crazily brilliant, but it's somewhere like, because it's like north of England, like north middle England, middle north England. You have to check it out on the map, Birmingham. So we call it Brummy for short, or the Black Country. So Birmingham is not an accent that I have actually studied and learned. But there are some, you can get into certain accents by mimicking them. I don't know, like if you're from America or India or Nepal, I don't see why you'd want to be copying a Brummy accent. But if you really liked it and you really wanted to, there are resources out there, so you can work on it. But you would want to be looking for Birmingham. Okay, that's the accent you would want to research if you wanted to get into that. Maybe another time in a different video I might start doing some accent workshops, but at the moment I just want to get through some of the vocal qualities of the character and less on the accent itself because it's quite specific.
I'll take your tongue first. Then I'll take your ears.
Take your tongue first, now take your ears. Take your ears. So it's very strong accent, as you can hear, and when he's like the microphone, like it's a very close-up shot, and the microphone must be just out of range, just here. So it's picking up all those nice warm qualities. He might even be down below, just there, so it gets more from the chest. And so when they're recording, you know, film stuff, in real life, if you heard him speaking this in the same room, you wouldn't be able to hear him. He'd be like, I'll take your ears. You'd have to be really close to the mic like this. I'll take your ears. And then it works. Do you see what I mean?
And I'll take your fingers. And your fucking toes.
He sounds quite monstrous, doesn't he? That whole kind of thing about adding depth and, you know, with texture makes it a little bit eerie. And he's very, you know, he's such a good actor. He's very kind of purposeful and he's very direct and he's always very sharp-eyed, very kind of focused.
Your fucking toes.
So when he's got really high energy and he's got a lot of energy in his body, but he doesn't do much with his mouth, and he speaks very low like that, it's very creepy.
See, I'll take your balls first, you drain too fast like you fuckers do.
I'll take your balls first, you drain too fast like you fuckers do. Ew. So that's really interesting, that kind of gravelly. There's a thing that rock singers do, is that if you go down to that pulse register, and then keep the channel open, don't restrict anything, but and then use your diaphragm to push air. You. And so he's kind of, I find he's doing that a little bit.
It's like you fuckers do.
Like you fuckers do. I'm overdoing it a bit, but it's a good idea. You know, death metal singers will do this, and they'll, and basically what happens is you're sending more air through quite fast with the support from your diaphragm, really pushing it in. This is like where diaphragmatic breathing comes in useful, and so that air stops. That air flow makes it safer to create some of these sounds, because if you're trying to create it from your throat, you're actually tightening things up to make that sound, as opposed to letting things be relaxed and the air do its work. And so, yeah, it's really important to keep that big open yawn sound really low and get the pulse register first. You! I'll take your legs first.
I want you to fucking explain.
I want you to fucking explain. Explain. I saw a video from another guy who does impressions and how to do impressions, and it's very good. He did one on Thomas Shelby. So he was saying that he says, all right, and puts all right into different kind of sentences, and it's a good way to get into his accent, but also that he doesn't move his bottom jaw so often. But I do actually see him using his mouth, so it might be a good way to get into the accent, but when Thomas Shelby's speaking, he is actually articulating. So what can we take from that? Keep it low, keep it on the pulse register, keep it forward. And if you want to add a bit of growl, just put a bit of air in. Send it forward. And some intensity. So you could put a lot of physical tension in your body, relax your belly, and you'd have that kind of high energy. But then you have to keep your belly relaxed so you can keep your voice relaxed. But you can push your feet into the floor to keep that energy alive. And then speak very quietly. Brummy, like that. And if you want to go growly, you can use your diaphragm. Well, I'm not the best, like I said before, I'm not the best at a Brummy accent. And if you want to work on the Thomas Shelby accent, keep a lot of tension in your body but relax your belly, keep this channel open and be prepared to use your diaphragm to control some of the speaking. Stay low and on your pulse register and try and do the Brummy accent if you can. Lovely. Alright. Lovely. Thanks for watching. I'm Darren McStay. This is Improve Your Voice. And until the next time, look after your voice.